Hey everyone, welcome to the What It Takes YouTube channel. My name is Amber Tallarico. I am the What It Takes creator and director. If you haven't already heard, I actually directed a documentary called What It Takes, and it's all about what it takes to be a successful makeup artist, and essentially just highlights all of the struggles and hardships that we go through as artists to make it to the top. It was a really eye-opening experience to create nonetheless. So definitely check it out. If you haven't already, go to the website. The link will be below. And thank you for stopping by. Thank you for checking out our channel. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and definitely subscribe. And even better, if you really, really loved it, share it with your friends, share it with your fellow makeup artists, all that good stuff. Today, I'm going to be talking about 5 books that completely changed my career as a makeup artist. And I'm saying literally turned my career around. We're talking tripled income. We're talking quadrupling my credit score. Maybe not quadrupling, definitely like tripling. Actually more like doubling. Sorry, I said that wrong. Doubling my credit score and quadrupling my income. I just got that backwards. So I'm excited to share these resources with you because it helped me so much, and I would really love to share this to help you guys essentially do the same thing, because being a makeup artist is incredibly hard. It's a challenging industry to be in and actually, you know, be able to pay bills and, you know, be able to do solely just freelance makeup artistry. A lot of the times we have to get part-time jobs and all that stuff. So I'm here to share with you guys my the 5 books that I in the past probably like 5 years have read that really, really changed everything in my career. All right, so and just to go over, if you guys are new, if you're stopping by, you've never seen anything that we've done with What It Takes, essentially my goal is to create a platform where education and motivation is kind of intertwined, as well as mindset. So these books that I'm going to be sharing with you, you'll notice a lot of it has to do with mindset. And I feel like a lot of the continuing education out there, while it's very informative, educational, and motivational, I don't really see as many people talking about like the mindset stuff. And the mindset, actually, if you're not in the right mindset, you can have all of the tools in the world. You could be the best makeup artist, you know, your artistry skills are like top notch, but if you're not in the right mindset, you can be causing some major blocks. Okay. And this happened to me in my career, and it is my goal to open those doors for the people to also change their lives by changing their mindset the way that I did. All right, so moving on to the 5 books that changed my life. If you've been a part of What It Takes for a while, you know this is like something I always talk about. This book is always brought up in everything that I ever talk about when it comes to resources. And it's the book that I bought back in 2009 when I decided that I wanted to pursue makeup. I started in hair. I went to cosmetology school in 2008 and was like, you know, gung-ho on wanting to do solely hair. In high school, and like, I think it was about 4 years before I actually went to cosmetology school, I was doing everybody else's hair. I was cutting, I was coloring, all that stuff. And I didn't want anything to do with makeup. And so it's funny to look back on, but in 2009, I came across this makeup artist who's specifically a men's groomer that wrote a book about freelance hair and makeup artistry, specifically in film and fashion. And that was what changed everything for me. So I kind of had it in my head that like, yeah, I could maybe move to LA, but I kind of am leaning more towards Chicago. Definitely want to do more hair. I want to do with editorial. I want to be a platform artist and all this stuff. And then I read this book and it just changed everything for me. My whole path changed. My plans changed. My goals changed. I went from wanting to only do hair to getting way more into makeup, to the point where now I'm pretty much only doing makeup. I don't really do as much hair anymore. So this is the book, the first book I'm going to talk about. It's called Shortcuts. And it's by a woman by the name of Diana Schmidtke. And she is, like I said, a men's groomer. So she only works with men. She is a licensed hairstylist, so she is able to cut and color legally. And she also is on Paul Mitchell's men's team. They have a men's line. So she does education for them. She travels with them, things like that. But she specifically works in the fashion world. So she's doing cover, magazine cover work. She's doing editorial spreads, print work, ad campaigns, and a lot of press junkets, press tours, things like that with major A-list celebrities, okay? She's done Ryan Gosling, George Clooney. She worked with Heath Ledger. She's worked with Maroon 5. She's done like pretty much everybody. And as far as like when I was reading this, back in 2009, it was literally everybody. So I can't even imagine who else she's done since this book was published. So she is incredible. Throughout the book, it essentially gives a very transparent look at what to expect as a makeup artist and a hairstylist in the freelance world. So what to do, what not to do, things that she's learned personally from personal experience. She is very open about what she likes and what she doesn't like in the different industries, between film, between fashion, between special effects. And the really great things that she also includes is information about assisting, how to go about assisting artists, how to go about getting with an agency. She goes over a tiny bit about union work, even though the thing about union, one, there's so many unions around the whole world that there's a lot of different rules, there's a lot of different regulations. So I think she kind of kept that pretty vague. And also I know that the union doesn't like to publish anything as far as the rules because they change weekly. I mean, they're always changing the rules. So it's a really great book, and I read it every single day during that year in 2009. I remember being in an apartment and I was just not happy. I was working at a salon that was just dreadful. The person I worked for was incredibly mean and just would always just be so demeaning to me. And this book is what got me through that time. It gave me motivation. It inspired me. It gave me all of the tools and all the knowledge that I needed to essentially do as much as I possibly could before moving to Los Angeles and making that huge leap, from going to like assisting and kind of having a little experience to like such a big city in Los Angeles where everybody is here to pursue something big, right? So I really credit this book to a lot of my success early on. It took a lot of work, a lot of hard work to, to network. I didn't know anybody when I moved here. I moved with one friend. He was an actor. And I literally left Indiana with only $500 in my pocket and signed up for makeup school and just drove from Indiana to Los Angeles. Didn't really have a plan, just knew that I wanted to pursue makeup and this book. I had all of the tools from this book and I used those tools. I networked like crazy. I emailed like crazy. And I got a lot of work in those first few months of being here, and I'm still here. And I definitely credit that to this book. So this book, game changer, life changer. It was the first book that I ever read that had anything to do with kind of like a guidance book, specifically in the makeup and the hair world. Okay, next is several years ago when I started the documentary, What It Takes, being a makeup artist is one thing. Creating a documentary, holy moly, that's a whole other thing, whole other plane, a whole other freaking universe. And it's just, it has the same tendencies of you have to work really hard, to network like crazy. You have to be very organizational. You know, playing the role of a director was something that I'd never experienced ever. So there was a lot of learning curves in that time period. Although I met incredible artists, you know, we interviewed V. Neal, Aaron Kruger McHash, Sarah Tano, Joel Harlow, Steve Johnson, Carrie Herta, the biggest makeup artists in the industry, Kim Green. There are so many people that we got to interview that I still to this day continue having relationships with. And there was a particular book, it's called The Art of Manifesting. This is by Carol Lee Dean. She specifically works in the documentary world. So this book is kind of catered to just film in general, but the concepts of manifesting are in here. And this book is what got me into the manifesting world. And although I will say the law of attraction, and I remember watching The Secret when I was in high school, and reading like Think and Grow Rich and things like that. And it wasn't that I didn't utilize those principles or anything like that. And I was obviously very much aware of those types of things, but it wasn't until I read this book that I actually started really implementing what these types of books suggest to do. So meditation, law of attraction, vision boards, you know, positivity, and always staying focused, and all those things. So this was a really good book that basically jump-started my journey into really manifesting what I wanted to do, both as a makeup artist and also, you know, with the documentary. I really credit this book and also this author, because she and I started communicating very closely. And she was kind of the one that suggested that I started creating like a platform for makeup artists, which is what I'm doing now. So I credit her for that. She was always very supportive. She loved everything that that I had planned on, all the goals that I had for the documentary and the future of, the platform beyond just the documentary. So this is a really good book that changed my life. All right. The third one that I want to go over is actually in my Audible account. So Amazon has an account for audiobooks called Audible. And I highly suggest, if you haven't already, start getting some books on Audible, because if you are a makeup artist that's in a big city, whether it's New York, LA, Atlanta, wherever you are, where there's traffic, having, podcasts and audiobooks helps so much during that time. You can get, inspired and motivated during those times of just like sitting in traffic. So I downloaded a book called The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. It's a very, very long book. It's very big. The pages, like if you actually were to get the physical book, are very thin. 100%, if you are like on a budget or something like that, your local library has this book. 100%. The Chicken Soup for the Soul books, those are his books that he essentially created. I don't know if he's like the publisher, but he's definitely the creator behind those books. And throughout the book, he just talks about all of these life principles to live by that essentially create success. So that book really, really changed my life. He has a lot of really awesome stuff online as well, little like 10-day transformational videos and things like that. It's really very, very helpful and very eye-opening. And all of the concepts that he goes over are very much, mindset and manifesting and law of attraction. But it gives you a lot of tangible exercises to do. And I started doing those exercises and saw drastic changes. Around that time, one of the things that he essentially talks about is kind of like taking responsibility for your life and your decisions and everything, like your journey. So I had attended a guest speaking event, and this it was actually Crystal Wright, for those of you most likely know who she is. And she essentially said, like, ask for what you want. And that is a principle I believe that Jack Canfield goes over, is ask for what you want. Essentially, like, you can't get what you want without asking for it. And during that time, I was working for, a company, and she suggested, like, you're never going to get a raise if you don't ask for one. The same thing in being a freelance makeup artist. If you are constantly getting asked to do work for $100 a day and you're 5 to 8 years in, the only thing that will change that is if you say, no, my rate is $500. How close can you get to $500? So that particular day, I was right around the time that I started really implementing these principles that Jack Canfield goes over. And Crystal Wright said that, and I was like, oh my God, like, I'm never going to get what I don't ask for. So that next day, I asked for a raise, and I got the raise. It was like a $5 raise. It was crazy. It was just like, oh, I mean, granted, I was kind of going between different departments, so there is that. But I don't think that I would have gotten the raise if I didn't ask for it, even though I was moving departments. So that there's other stories amongst just that specific example that I implemented from Jack Canfield's book. So I definitely suggest getting that on Audible, just because there's a lot, but you can get it as a physical copy if you want to get it at the library or purchase it at like Barnes & Noble or Amazon or something. It's really amazing. The next one I want to go over, so this is the fourth one, is Carrie Green's She Means Business. Now, this is a little bit more for like entrepreneurs in the sense of like creating a business. However, there's a lot of like manifesting type of things in this in conjunction with the business aspect of things. So this changed my life. I have it both on Audible and obviously the physical copy, but I've listened to it on Audible probably a good 12 times now. I listen to it all the time, and I pick up something new every single time. It's amazing. And if you are a makeup artist, if you want to create your own makeup line, if you want to create a blog, if you want to create a YouTube channel, if you want to, really start a bridal company, anything that has to do with creating some sort of brand or company, aside from freelance work on like sets and things like that, this book will change your life. It's so inspiring, and she is so transparent about her personal experiences, and it's just like really eye-opening. And she gives so much information that you can use as a makeup artist that wants to do, potential like other things. So like if you have like a side hustle or something like that, this is really, really good for that. I highly, I tell people about this book all the time. So definitely look into that. And you guys, seriously, like, just as a side note, going off, on a little bit of a tangent here, freelance makeup artistry, obviously I'm, doing it, and I'm making a great living at it now, and it takes time, but I think that we all can like benefit from having like a little side job. And so like, take, something else that you love and kind of do that, as a side job, so that you don't have to work in corporate world, aside from your freelance career. So if you like to, I don't know, if you're really big into knitting, like you could totally create like a little side job with knitting, so that while you're on these jobs, you can be selling these things, and it's like around the clock. Same thing with blogs. Like you could be, a blogger that goes viral and you start getting paid for ad space, you know, or affiliates and things like that. There's a lot of ways nowadays, that you can make money online. So think about it. Look into this. Oops, didn't mean to shake the camera. Look into this. It's a great, great, great book to have. Really, really great resource. Last but not least, You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. This book, I also have the physical copy and the audio copy. So I've read through this once through the physical copy, and then I've listened to it 3 times on Audible. This one is a really, really great, if you say aren't really big into, like, it seems a little too woo-woo for you as far as, like, you know, law of attraction and stuff, this is a good book to start out with, because here's the thing. She is so real about all of this. She tells you about how she never believed in all this stuff and, like, you know, vision boards and meditation and yoga and all this stuff, but she gives you her experiences in a very raw way. So obviously the title of the book, You Are a Badass, she cusses like a sailor. And, you know, that may or may not sit well with you. But for me, I connected well with that, because to me, it was very much like she's just being real. She's not fluffing anything at all. Like, it's not all like, you know, like everybody is so beautiful. And it's like, and I do love that kind of stuff. However, I do kind of like to be grounded at the same time. And I love examples and I love proof of things. I'm a very psychological, scientific, proof kind of person. So all of these books that I'm explaining to you, I obviously have had personal experiences that I've utilized what they say in the books, and it's worked for me. So that's why I'm sharing this with you guys, because I really think that these types of things need to be talked about a lot more in our industry. While, you know, the artistry side is so important, obviously, but I really think that, you know, your mindset, you do have to be in the right mindset to be successful. And going back to You Are a Badass, this one, like I said, she's very raw. And when I was reading this or like listening to it, it's extremely motivating. And I started hurdling over a lot of fears that I had. And so I had some really great experiences and some really, you know, what is the word I'm trying to think of, but very like jaw-dropping moments that I got from utilizing what she says in this book. So those are the 5 that I suggest that you guys get, that I personally have had a ton of success with essentially what they teach and what they suggest that you do to help manifest things in your life and how to be successful. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, because we have a lot more to come your way. And definitely connect with us on our social media, so Instagram, Facebook. We have a Facebook group specifically for makeup artists called What It Takes Makeup Artistry Platform, where essentially like-minded makeup artists come together and we just support each other and give each other motivation and inspiration. And definitely check out the DVD if you haven't already. All the links for all the things I just explained are going to be in the below description box. And yeah, till then, I guess I'll see you in the next video. Bye, everybody.